A warm welcome to you all. I am Deborah Mercibai from Sri Balaji College of Nursing. I am an associate professor in Fundamentals of Nursing Department. Today I am going to take 4 language skills of English. There are 4 language skills of English: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Types of language skills are receptive or input, productive or output. Reading and listening will come under receptive language skills. Writing and speaking come under productive language skills. First, we'll see about listening. When do we listen? In everyday life, in lectures, group discussions, brainstorming, presentations, question and answer, and instructions. Listening skill. Listening comprehension is the receptive skill. Listening means to understand what we hear. 2 types of listening are interactive and non-interactive. In interactive listening, we have chance to speak. For example, calls, discussion, and face-to-face conversation. And non-interactive listening skill in which we don't have a chance to speak. For example, watching television and sermons. Importance of listening. It improves speaking and pronunciation. It develops interpersonal skills, receptive skill that needs active participation. Issues faced in listening. Uncertain comprehension, which means the speech which is not related to the topic. Speed of speech. Familiarity with local speech, which means accents and vocabulary. Missing words or concepts or instructions. And lack of confidence to ask for repetition. And if you have hearing difficulties, it will interrupt your listening. And solutions to listening problems. Active listening requires participation, not passive reception. Engage with the sounds and words. Ensure you are aware of the subject before lectures. Read key vocabulary and do background reading. Mental repetition. Ask for clarification if you have doubts. Listen to radio, TV, or other media. How to teach listening to the students? Beginners should be given more chances for listening. Speak slowly and as close to natural speed as possible, using shorter sentences and the number and length of pauses in your speech. Reduce distractions and noise. Use equipments like television, radio, and tape recorder. Repeat or play the text twice or thrice. Give them a listening task as home task listening use. Teaching listening. Learners listen with a purpose and listen to things that interest them. The language should be real everyday language, including hesitations, rephrasing, and a variety of accents. Use activities that teach the students how to listen for content. The next language skill is speaking. And when do we speak? Class group discussions, group task work, seminars, presentations, question and answers in lectures, one-to-one sessions, and which means personal tutor, doctor, employer, etc. And the speaking skill is the productive skill. And I have told you there are 2 types of language skill. One is receptive and productive. First we saw about listening and it comes under receptive skill. The next is speaking, it is under productive skill. There are 3 kinds of speaking: interactive, partially interactive, and non-interactive. Example of interactive speaking is discussion, and dialogue. Partially interactive is lecture method, non-interactive is sermons and speeches. And importance of speaking. It is the most obvious skill. It is the most interactive skill. It develops understanding through communication. It develops interpersonal skills, means team working. It is used in assessment. And issues in speaking, when we don't have confidence, when you are with lack of confidence, it will interrupt speaking. Uncertain about timing, vocabulary, and interaction. Decoding of non-verbal information. Lack of knowledge of presentation skills. And solutions for speaking problems. Take every opportunity to speak, ask questions, use academic skills, resources. For example, presentation space, observe native speakers, repeat, and ask for clarification. How to teach speaking? It is a communicative teaching, so mistakes should be welcome. Actions with speaking, activities imitating, answering verbal cues, interactive conversation, oral presentation. So give some interesting topic to the students and make them to speak. That is oral presentation, and make them to interact in the classroom. Content of speaking should be practical and usable in real life. Provide appropriate feedback, but don't interrupt communication. First, let them speak completely, then you can give your feedback. Address both interactive fluency and accuracy. Encourage strategies like asking for clarification, paraphrasing, gestures, and initiating. Tips for teaching speaking. Design activities that are authentic and motivating. Ignore less serious errors in student speaking. So when they speak, they may give you errors, but take it less serious. Emphasize keywords, rephrase, check for listener comprehension. Use gestures or body language. Use drills and have the learner simply repeat a phrase or structure. Types of speaking tasks: discussions, speeches, role plays, conversations, oral dialogue journals, and debates. So, these are all the ways to improve your speaking skill. Teaching speaking. In class speaking activities, use dialogues and conversations found in your textbooks. Have the students repeat a phrase or structure. Practice dialogues that have grammatical points such as minimal pairs or repetition of a series sentences. Have students make short replies to teacher or learner questions or comments such as a series of answers to yes or no questions. Use dialogues to teach students how to exchange and obtain information, such interviews, role plays, or debates. Use dialogues to establish or maintain social relationships, such as personal interviews or everyday conversation role plays. Have the students make short speeches, oral reports, or oral summaries. And the third language skill is reading. When do we read? We read in lectures, presentations, tutorials, coursework, research, internet, blackboard, course documents, and then work and home, Social site reading. We read banners, we read advertisements in roadside. So all that are social site reading. Reading skill. It is the receptive skill in the written mode. It can develop independently of listening and speaking skills. Reading can help to build vocabulary that helps listening comprehension. Types of reading activities. Take students to the library to, to obtain library cards. Have students check out books with your help. Have students give a short oral presentation about the parts that they liked about the book. Have students read the advertisements in the newspaper. Have students read the want ads. So use library to read many books and read. Tips for teaching reading. Provide reading materials that are of interest to the age and interest level of the students. Focus on the meaning of the text. Label items in the room. Post announcements around the classroom. Provide materials that the students see every day. Read aloud while the students follow you with the printed material that you have provided. Importance of reading. It informs writing and writing style. It develops knowledge of language structure. It develops vocabulary and specific vocabulary for the subject, register, and purpose. And solutions in reading problems. Reading is an active skill. It improves your speed. Read smart. Read for gist or skim. Read for specific information. Do not stop to look up every word decode from the text. Use tools to help develop vocabulary, means textual and online. So when you read, if you don't understand the meaning of any word or the phrase, you can use your dictionary to develop vocabulary. So it improves your vocabulary also. How to teach reading. For beginners, reading text should be simple in terms of grammar and vocabulary. The text should be relevant to the context, real life, and background knowledge of the reader. Use reading strategies, prediction, guessing from the context, skimming, and scanning. And there are two ways of reading, silent reading and reading aloud. Reading aloud improve pronunciation and silent reading focus on comprehension. And the fourth one is writing skill. Writing is the productive skill in the written mode. It is more complicated, seems to be the hardest of the skills. It involves not just a graphic representation of speech, but the development and presentation of thoughts in a structured way. Good writing conveys a meaningful message, and there are two ways to write. One is free writing and the process writing. Free for collecting ideas and process for polishing writing piece. And when do we write? In coursework, in exams, in lectures, in tutorials, group work, presentation. And the importance of writing. It is the main method of assessment. It is a strict method and conventions in academic writing. Various formats are there, styles and functions, and it depends on the subject area. Essential skill for exams, errors are more obvious in writing skills. And issues in writing. Lack of knowledge of key language structures, word, sentence, paragraph, and text. There are differences between style in native country and other country. Register and purpose, note taking, paraphrasing, academic conduct, and solutions for writing problems. Use learning development group resources, for example, classes, appointments, workspace for support. Engage in the process of writing for academic purposes. Be aware of academic conventions, means student handbook, referencing guide, library resources. Disclose learning needs, that is dyslexia for further support. So dyslexia is difficulty in writing. So there is problem in that, you have to go for the support. How to teach writing? Copying text word for word, writing what you dictate, imitating a model, filling in blanks in sentences or paragraphs, taking a paragraph and transforming certain language, for example, changing all verbs in time, references to past tense, summarizing a story text, video, or listening clip. Types of writing activities. Students write notes to each other. Students write notes to the teacher. Students write directions on how to perform an activity. Students write a summary of a story that they read or hear. Students make list of what they need to do for a certain job. And students keep a journal. Food for thought. All four skills facilitate language learning. Language learning is like learning swimming. You cannot teach swimming to someone by sitting at the bank of river and giving lecture. For this purpose, you will have to jump in the river. In the same way, language cannot be learned by just cramming the rules of grammar or lecture. It can be learned through conversation and discussion. So, we have seen today the four language skills. And listening, speaking, reading, and writing are the four language skills. And I taught you there are two types of language skills. One is receptive, and the second one is productive. And reading and listening comes under receptive language skill. Writing and speaking come under productive language skills. And we see what is listening, and when do we listen in our life. In everyday life we listen, I said, and during lectures, group discussions, and questioning and answering, and giving instructions. And there are two types of listening we saw. One is interactive and non-interactive. And in interactive listening, we have chance to speak, and non-interactive listening, we do not have chance to speak. We only listen. And watching television and sermons are the example of non-interactive teaching. And calls and discussions and face-to-face conversation are the example of interactive listening. Next, we saw how to face solution, how to give solution to the listening problem. So engage with the sounds and words, read key vocabulary before you listen something, and ask for clarification when you don't listen. Ask for the repetition and get a clear meaning of it. Listen to radio, TV, and other media to improve your listening skills. And why listening is important? Because it improves your speaking as well, and it improves your pronunciation. And listening needs active participation, because when you are not actively listen, you will not get the actual meaning of the speech. And give guidance or teach listening to the student, and give them more chances for listening. You give them advice to listen actively, and repeat or play the text twice or thrice when you are not getting the actual meaning of the speech. And the second one is speaking in classroom discussions and seminars and one-to-one sessions. All that need a very good speaking skill. And it is a productive skill. And said there are three kinds of speaking: interactive, partially interactive, and non-interactive. And what I am giving now is the non-interactive speaking skill. So it is like sermon and speeches. There is no interaction, only the speaker will speak. And the importance of speaking is it develops interpersonal skills. It develops understanding through communication. It is used in assessment, and it is very important, and it is the most obvious skill, and it is the most interactive skill. And the main problem you face in speaking is lack of confidence. When you are not when you are not certain about the timing, vocabulary, or the meaning of the content, you will have lack of confidence. So that will interrupt your speaking, and lack of knowledge of the presentation. So when you are not prepared well, it will interrupt your speaking. So take every opportunity to speak. Speak. That will improve your speaking skill. So never bother about the mistakes. Mistakes are common when speak. So, and next, so take some interesting topic, and ask your friends, or make a group and debate about the topic, and make an interactive conversation with your friends, and give oral presentation. Give them an interesting topic and make them to speak. And types of speaking task. All these will be uh, can be done in the classroom: discussions, speeches, role plays, conversations, oral dialogue journals, and debates. That will improve your speaking. And next we saw reading. And when do we read? In lectures, in coursework, research, in internet, and work and home. So wherever you see attractive boards or advertisements, you will tend to read. So read. It is a receptive skill, and it builds your vocabulary as well. And for you students, library is the best place to read. You will have a lot of books, you will have more choices. So take an interesting book and read. You can read aloud or you can read silently. And reading aloud will improve your pronunciation, and silent reading will focus comprehension. And as I said, it develops your vocabulary. And take a dictionary and sit with a dictionary when you read. When you do not have any, when you don't know the meaning of the sentence or the word, immediately you search the meaning for the word in dictionary or online dictionary are available now. And next we have seen reading. Reading is the receptive skill. And the last one is writing. Writing is the productive skill. And when do you write? In your exam, in lectures, in group work and presentations. And it is the main method of the assessment. It definitely need essential skill, and errors are more obvious in writing, and I'll say it is one of the toughest skills of four. So in our school and in college, in exams, we'll have like copying text word for word, and they'll dictate you a word and they'll make you to write without any spelling errors, and filling in the blanks or the main way to write or improve your writing skills. And you can summarize a story, text, video, or listening script. And types of writing activities in the classroom. Students write notes to each other, and they write notes to teacher, and they write a summary of the class, and they make list of what they need to do for a certain job, and they keep a journal. And beware of academic convention, that is very important in writing. And to improve your writing skill, good writing conveys a meaningful message, as I said. So to improve your writing, take an interesting topic. Write an essay about, for example, I'll give you a topic like write about pet animals. You can make so many points on pet animals. So writing will improve your grammar, because if you know the grammar part well, you can make the sentence or you can structure a sentence without any errors. So grammar is very important because errors are more obvious here, as I said. So errorless sentence will give you the meaningful message. So writing will improve your vocabulary, writing will improve your grammar, and writing skill improve your punctuation. All that is very essential when you are writing. And note taking is very important for the students. So write and summarize the class once the teacher has finished the class. And food for thought, as I said, without uh, learning the language properly, you will not be efficient, or you will not be proficient in the language skill, all four language skills. So you have to teach someone swimming by getting into the river. So as I said, for this purpose, you will have to jump in the river in order to teach swimming to other person. So the same way, language cannot be learned by rules of the grammar or lecture. I will say so many things. I can teach you so many things, but without implementing it, without practicing, you will not get improved in all four skills. The four skills are listening, reading, speaking, and writing. All four skills need proper practicing. Without practicing, without implementing the grammar or the lectures as which is taught in the classroom, it is not possible to give you a correct knowledge on the four skills. So it can be learned through conversation and discussion. So I always insist you to speak, 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 read, write whatever you know, and listen. Be an active listener. That is very, very, very important. So with that, I'm finishing this session today.